Hey everyone, Kenton Covester here, founder of Rocketblocks. In today's video, we're going to sit down with Kevin Yien, who brings a wealth of product management knowledge to the table. He's been at Square for the last 3.5 years, where he started as a product manager focused on their restaurants product, and has recently moved into a product lead role where he's overseeing product management, engineering, as well as a few other functions focused on a customer lifecycle platform product. So we're going to cover a ton of great product management topics in these videos. Let's go ahead and jump in. Okay. You once tweeted out that there are basically three different ways to break into product management, and I'm curious to hear from you. What are those different ways, and can you illuminate those different paths for us?
Yeah, for sure. So there's probably way more than three, but these are the easiest buckets, at least for my brain to fit around. And so just to list them out quickly, there's going through kind of an associate or rotational product management program, so APM. Two is joining a startup and just grinding and hustling to kind of pick up all the pieces and figure it out on your own. And number three is starting in a different discipline, but then making a lateral move over into product management. And that could be coming from customer success, analytics, design, engineering, kind of anything really at the end of the day. And when it comes to the differences and the pros and cons, I think it's good to start off with like no one is better than another. It's all just different, right? And so when folks reach out and ask about which path they should go down, it's usually more about how they learn the best. And so there's going to be some folks that are very good in structured environments, right? They've thrived academically. They're very good at having a goal and being able to like get to that in a very coordinated way. And for those folks, like APM programs, if you can get into one, is amazing. I've met incredible people that have gone through those, and without a doubt, like that's really solid. The issue that I've encountered with that is there's very few spots. Like at the end of the day, it's still a pretty small amount of like all the PMs, I think.
Yeah.
And so it's if you have that chance and that's how you like to learn, great pathway. Uh, the startup and hustle path is the one that I personally went through and generally recommend to folks, but it also requires that you are someone who likes kind of learning on the go, doesn't need guidance or structure, and is comfortable in that ambiguous setting, right? Uh, if if that environment of here's the middle of the ocean, get us to land, uh, seems frightening, then that's probably not the right path for you. And that doesn't mean it's a bad thing, but it means that you should maybe consider one of the alternatives. The other risk that I've seen and personally encountered with that route is there is no guarantee, right? It's still a bet that usually when you enter a startup, let's call it less than 20 people, um, I would argue they don't need a product manager. The engineers and designers there are going to be better and desiring to do a lot of that work. And so what you're actually doing is just kind of filling in the gaps, whether it's customer success, performing analytics, helping them with other things, just being that utility player. But as that team grows and as the engineers and designers decide that they actually need to focus on their individual parts more, that's when the need naturally arises. And if you've proven yourself by doing the job already, that's when you'll be kind of granted that ability. But it doesn't always happen. And sometimes the founding team says, you know what, you've been great, you've been scrappy, but we're going to bring in someone who knows how to run this process. And at that point, you have to make the tough call of do you stay and learn from that new person, or do you decide that it's time to move on to something else?
Yeah.
And then just really quickly on the last bit, I'm actually a huge fan of folks that start somewhere else. I personally believe that like starting your career, if your very first job is a PM, it's kind of weird actually, because it's really nice to have an anchor of a discipline to go off of, right? One of the best things, but also hardest things about product management is that it is such a diffuse discipline. And so if you have either design principles or an engineering mindset to base a lot of the mental models that you develop personally off of, that'll just make you that much stronger and provide, I think, unique perspective as you kind of round out your capabilities.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that completely, especially that last bit. I did not jump into the career as a product manager right at the beginning, and I think that grounding in some other discipline lets you take basically like an angle and a focus into product management, which is helpful because it is a job of just wearing a bunch of different hats, right? And so if
for
you
sure.
slide on one of those hats like permanently before, hopefully you really understand that angle well and can bring some of that expertise to the team. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you haven't subscribed yet already, we've got a ton of great content coming out on both the consulting and the product management career paths on a weekly basis. So go ahead and subscribe, and that means you'll get all of our videos as soon as they come out. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.